No matter what anyone tells you or how much things change over the years, E3 is still the biggest event in gaming every single year. It's one of the most defining events of the year for all gamers all over the world. This is the event where all of gamers come together and talk about our most cherished hobby. We love the event so much because it shines a light on the already bright future of gaming, be it the next console, the next big game coming in the next couple of months. From PC gaming to mobile gaming, it's the best place to be when it involves gaming. With that being said, it seems that E3 2019 has been getting a lot of criticism as of late, especially since the announcement that PlayStation won't be going to the event this year. And later, EA announced they won't be doing a conference at the event either. Most people have jumped on this bandwagon saying that E3 is useless now because these two big publishers won't be at the conference anymore, trying to justify their favorite company's decision to not show up and reveal new games. Before I get into all of this, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. It helps the channel out more than you know. And I'm here to go into detail of why E3 is very relevant and still the most important week in gaming. Because as gamers, we can make excuses as to why some billion-dollar company doesn't want to show up, or we can take a step back and realize all the amazing companies showing up. Alright, but let's get into this. Let's look at the two companies that aren't showing up. Let's start this off with Sony, who have decided to not take part at all in the conference. This is very unusual for a company that hasn't missed an E3 conference in 24 years. But John Layden himself has said that they have a standard they owe their fans, and showing up to E3 with the same games they've already shown will be a disservice to them. And I have to respect that, because it's not like Sony has performed badly at E3 as of late, even though last year was one of their worst I've seen in recent memory. What I think is happening is that this is the reality of showing games way before they are actually coming out. Sony is known to show games a little early, so while it does build hype, it also puts you at a disadvantage for the long term. Not to mention, Sony has hinted that they will be back at E3 next year when they have more to show their fans. I think Sony not showing up has more to do with their lack of content instead of the conference as a whole, because this is kind of like a little telltale of the conference is still there and it's still relevant, but we don't have much to bring. Next up is EA, who has almost exclusively held the title for the worst conference showing almost every year. The difference with EA and Sony is that EA will be at E3, but they just won't have a huge conference like they usually do. Instead, they want to have a smaller, concentrated streams that showcase a lot of their sports games and other titles they have in the works. This to me is a very smart move and should be applauded, because I don't know about you guys, but I hated watching these star athletes come on stage and have these terrible cringe-worthy conferences that nobody cared about, while we all waited for them to show the same games over and over, which were Battlefield or Battlefront. So I find it smart for EA to showcase Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and other cool games in small streams where people can choose what they want to watch, instead of having to drudge through this long conference with all these cringe-worthy moments of watching these athletes or whoever celebrity come on stage and try to entertain you. It felt very weird. But enough about the companies that won't show up to the conference. Let's talk about the companies that see E3 as a very valuable event for its fans. First up, of course, is Microsoft, who hasn't been shy talking about E3 and how they plan to go very big at the conference. This gives Microsoft a bit of an advantage if it decides to debut its next-gen console or show some never-before-seen games. Some have said that Microsoft showing their next-gen console might be a reason why Sony isn't even showing up to the conference, because they know that Microsoft will have the power narrative locked down. We've heard about Halo Infinite, Gears 5, along with other big titles like Ori. What grabs my attention the most is what Phil Spencer has said about the event when he says this, "But I want to get back to us. There's been really good work to get us to the position where we are poised to compete for 2 billion gamers across the planet. Google went big today, and we have a couple of months until E3 when we will go big." To me, this shows how committed one of the biggest companies in gaming is to this conference, which shows the value of E3. Not how irrelevant it is, or how irrelevant people think it's becoming, but more of how big of a conference it is for all these companies to come together and show their biggest games. And next up is two very big publishers, Ubisoft and Bethesda. Both companies have said they will be at the conference and show a lot of cool things for their fans to enjoy. Ubisoft especially has a lot on their plate to show. They just launched Division 2 and will probably have updates on that game. They also have Skull and Bones, Beyond Good and Evil 2, and rumors are hinting they might have a Watch Dogs 3 in the works for this holiday season. Bethesda, on the other hand, has to repair a little bit of damage they've caused with their fan base with the release of Fallout 76. But they also have a lot of cool games to show: Doom Eternal, Elder Scrolls, and of course, Starfield. These two giant developers slash publishers that are coming to the conference and will show us all games we can't wait to get our hands on. That's what E3 is all about, getting us excited for the new games and what publishers are working on and the technology behind it. But the company that sold me on E3 being relevant has to be CD Projekt Red, the developers behind The Witcher 3 and the extremely highly anticipated Cyberpunk 2077. They apparently have big plans for E3 2019. CEO Adam Kaczynski said this will be the most important E3 in the studio's history, which to me says they will announce Cyberpunk 2077 release date, especially when the studio told investors that E3 is the best venue for that kind of announcement. There's also been rumor that the company has expanded to a new building and is hiring another 250 to 300 developers for a new AAA RPG game. That's a huge investment, and the company is using E3 as the main hub to get their game in front of as many eyes as possible. This doesn't sound like E3 is irrelevant. It sounds like it's alive and well and healthy. And this should excite gamers because we all love watching E3 when June rolls around. That's the power of E3 to me. It's a chance for companies to stand out in front of the world and showcase the best of gaming. I'm tired of people saying E3 is irrelevant and doesn't need to be around anymore, because at the end of the day, every gamer come June 11th will have their faces glued to their screens waiting for the next big game to be announced or the next big sequel to their favorite franchise to be revealed. Stop trying to justify a few companies' decisions to not show up to the biggest gaming conference in the world, and maybe just enjoy who's going to be there and enjoy the cool games that will be announced. Because at the end of the day, we're all gamers, and E3 is one of the best times for gamers to come together and enjoy games. But let me know what you guys think about this whole thing. Go down below and let's have a discussion. Do you think E3 is irrelevant? Do you think E3 is still important? Are you disappointed in Sony and EA for not showing up? Does this give Microsoft a huge advantage over other companies this year? Go down below and let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. Any support helps the channel out more than you know. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my videos. Also follow me on Twitch. The link will be in the description. If you want to hang out and chat with me, I'm very active with my chat and always playing games. I hope to see you guys there. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.